Longo & Co. My name's James. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be talking you through our new Arctic Mini 18 litre ice cream machine and talk you through all the features and benefits and how to use the machine. Right, so to begin with, I'm going to talk you through the hopper on the machine. This is a 6 litre hopper. This is where the ice cream lives in the machine. What you can see here is a shaft and a float. This is what tells you when the ice cream mixture is running low within the machine. So when that hits the bottom, it will then start beeping, and it will also start flashing on the front of the machine. This is basically telling you that the ice cream mixture is running low and you need to get some more mixture in there, sharpish. Also what you will see is you've got a spout where the mixture feeds through. So we remove that to begin with, and then we will reinstate that later on once we've filled the machine up. The hopper has a cooling system. This keeps the mixture cool in the top of the machine, therefore keeping it within health and safety standards during the day whilst the machine is working. To switch the cooling system on, all we do is switch this switch to the left onto the on position. Right, so the next part of what we need to run through is the discharge door. This is basically where the ice cream is dispensed from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to split this down, then basically how to clean it all. So we'll take it all apart and show you how to clean it the best possible way. So to begin with, what we want to do is we want to unscrew the discharge door, which is, as you can see, just simply screw both of these screws off from either side of the discharge door. So this is the discharge door, and what we want to do then is we want to split all this down just to show you everything what's involved in this. So to begin with, we're going to take the handle off from the front. So to do that, we've got a bar here basically which is screwed from one side. So we just unscrew that bar. This then releases the handle, and that's that first part done for you there. Turn the discharge door over. What we've got on the end here is a drip cap, and this drip cap just basically pops off, just like so. The last thing we want to do is we want to unscrew from the top. Now the only screw we need to worry about is the middle, big screw. Just keep screwing away until that comes all the way out. So now what you'll notice is from this side of the door you have got a spring load on the top. So what we want to do is we want to release the plunger inside this chamber basically. So we're going to push from the spring side, we're going to face it up, we're going to push the spring up. So one thing to note on the plunger is on the plunger here, this is a part what needs cleaning, so this will go into hot soapy water or sanitised water to be cleaned. To note on here you've got two rubbers. Both these rubbers are sat in grooves, so what we need to do is we need to take these rubbers from out of these grooves, we clean those rubbers then, and then we put them back on the machine. What we do when we put them back on the machine is we use what we call a food grade lubricant. This just helps all this part move nice and freely within inside the chamber. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how to put them all back together, just so we do it from start to finish. So to begin with, the plunger, get your spring, pop that back on the top. Now one thing to note when you're putting the plunger back inside the discharge chamber is you've got a hole on the front of the plunger and a hole on the front of the door. That's basically where your handle lines into and sits into, as you saw me take the handle out at the beginning. Next part, put your drip cap back on. As before, you just pops that off, you just pop it back on, just like that. Then the final part of putting this door back together is your little part which we unscrew from the middle big screw at the top. Don't forget to put that on, otherwise you won't have any ice cream dispensing once you pull on your handle. Final thing to note on the discharge door is on the back of the discharge door you have got a big rubber O-ring seal, which is like a gasket. This removes just like so. One thing to note about that seal is it's flat on one side and rounded on the other. The flat side is what sits within the door at the back. The rounded side is what bonds to the machine at the front. So that's just one thing you need to note for when you've taken that out, you've cleaned it, and you're putting it back in. Make sure the flat side goes into the door, the rounded side is what bonds onto the front of the machine. As I said before, all rubbers in the machine need lubricant on them. Just helps bond the seal into the door, just there, holds it in place nice and firm. And then the last part to do is just to installed the handle. So as we spoke about before, we've got both of the holes lined up at the front. So the handle just sits in just like so. We grab our bar, we place the bar back through, and our nut, and we tighten that back up. That is basically then the door fully disassembled, reassembled, showing you all the parts what need cleaning in there, and that's now ready to be used. Right, so the next part we need to touch on is the freezing chamber and the spindle inside the freezing chamber. So, to remove the spindle, you literally just pull it out just like so. Now this spindle here is what churns the ice cream in the chamber. It basically stops the ice cream from over freezing the chamber. It also helps with dispensing the ice cream out of the machine when you pull on your handle. So things to note on the spindle is it's got a few rubbers on the end. So we've got one rubber here, a big rubber which you've got spares of. We'll show you spares bag shortly. And then there's also a couple of rubber O-rings in the end here which are also setting grooves on the end of the spindle. So, as with every other rubber in the machine, what we need to do is we need to put our food grade lubricant on. So we put a little bit either side, on the inside, and then just spread all that around. Slip the rubber seal back on there. Now, you want to make sure that you put this seal back on the end of the spindle. If you forget to put this seal on the end of the spindle, what will happen is the ice cream inside the chamber will flow into the inside of the ice cream machine. So very important to put that back on. So what you've got here is you've got your freezing chamber. Inside your freezing chamber you'll see the part where the spindle slots into. Also in there is a little spout which is where the ice cream feeds through from in the top of the machine, out of the hopper. Right, so next part is to install our drip tray. It consists of two parts. You've got your grid and you've got your tray. Now if you look on the underside of the tray, what you'll see here and here is two little parts where it slides over the two knobs which are screwed into the machine. So they screw in and out. What you want to do is you want to screw them quite far into the machine, leaving a tiny gap at the back. Then these slot over that gap and then you screw it in tighter to nick the tray, just like so. So we've installed the drip tray already, as just shown. To put the spindle in, we just slide the spindle in, push it all in. As you'll see there, the spindle's quite prominent out of the freezing chamber there. That's because it's not in correctly. All you do is give it a little twist, just until you feel it clicking correctly. And when it's in correctly, you'll actually be able to bounce it back and forth on the rubber at the back, just like that. It's also quite flush to the freezing chamber, so that's when you know it's in correctly. So that's your spindle back in the machine. Last thing to do is to fit your discharge door. So, put this door back on over each thread and then get your knobs which we unscrewed earlier on, and we just screw these back on. Now one thing to note with this is you want to make sure they're nice and tight on the front of the machine. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want that ice cream to come flooding out of here once we start filling the machine up. Just going to run through the spare parts what we have which come with the ice cream machine. This big rubber is the one what was on the end of the spindle, so that's your spares. You've got two of those in your spare pack. And then also on the end here, as you can see in the grooves on the end of the spindle, you've got some little rubber red O-rings inside your spares pack. That's what replaces these here. Other spares what we have in your pack are a drip cap, which lives on the bottom of the door dispenser. Another O-ring rubber, which is the two rubber O-rings what was inside the plunger on the inside of the discharge door. So that's the spares for that. And then your big gasket rubber O-ring which lives on the back of the discharge door. So they're all your spares which you'll have in your pack with your machine. So we're going to run through the controls of the machine now, how to switch the machine on. So very simply, the power switch is here. We switch the power switch to the left to the on position. Whenever you switch the machine on, what we then need to do is we need to switch the refrigeration system on for the hopper in the top. As we discussed before, this keeps your mixture cool in the top of the machine during the day. So whenever we switch the machine on at the power source, we always switch the refrigeration system on. Right, so what we want to do before filling the machine full of ice cream is we want to make sure that it's nicely sanitised for us. So what you've got in your starter pack is you've got some sanitizer pouches. So all we want to do with one of these is we want to get 5 litres of lukewarm water, and we want to add our satchel into that water. We want to make sure that it all dissolves within the water, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run that through the machine. And whenever we add mixture or water into the top of the hopper, what we need to do is we need to press a clean button on the front of the machine. This will start bubbling away in the top of the machine. It's basically pulling all that sanitised water through into our freezing chamber right now. So what we're waiting out for is we're waiting out for that bubbling to stop, and then we'll rinse this water through the machine. So we'll just add the rest of the mixture in. So we've waited for the bubbles to stop in the top of the hopper now. So all we're going to do is we're going to rinse through the machine. So we pull down on the handle and we just dispense the sanitised water from the top of the hopper. This is basically an effectively cleaning out your hopper with the sanitised water. It's clearing the chamber inside there, your freezing chamber. It's also cleaning the spindle and the parts, the dispensing chamber at the front here. We've run our sanitised water through the machine, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to clear that sanitizer water out of there. So we're just going to add some normal fresh water into the top of the hopper. And same as before with the sanitised water, we're going to flush that through. So what we've done there is we've cleaned the machine. We've just done a quick sanitise of the machine and then flush some water, some fresh water through it, just to make sure that all them parts are nice and clean for us before we add our ice cream mix. So that's the part we're at now. We're going to add our ice cream mix. Now the mixture that we use is a Kerry-made Angelito mix. We found that this is the best long life mixture that you can find out there. It's not overly expensive and it tastes really nice. The mixture is also gluten-free, nut-free and vegetarian-free. So all we're going to do is we're going to add this mixture into the hopper in the top. So we start pouring a litre into the top, and as we start putting that first litre in, we hit the clean button. What happens then when we hit the clean button is this mixture starts bubbling away in the top of the machine. So as it's doing that, we're just going to add the rest of the mixture. Now what we say is we always want to have 6 to 8 litres of the mixture in the machine. The reason we say that is we don't want you to over-freeze the freezing chamber. If it runs out or runs low of mixture in the freezing chamber and it's still working to freeze that mixture, it's going to over-freeze. So therefore you're going to have to switch the machine off and defrost the machine if this ever happens. So always keep 6 to 8 litres of mixture in the machine. So what we've done there is we've added our 6 litres of ice cream mixture into the top of the hopper. We've waited for the mixture to stop bubbling in the top. What happens once it's stopped bubbling in the top? That means that the freezing chamber is full of ice cream and we're ready for our next process. And our next process, nice and simple, all we do is we hit the auto button on the front of the machine. You hit the auto button, give it a couple of seconds and listen out, and in 3, 2, 1 our compressor kicks in. Compressor kicks in, the making scale will start rising. That will then start freezing our freezing chamber and producing lovely ice cream for us. Take about 10 minutes from now and we'll have some ice cream ready to produce. As you can see, the making scale has now started to go down in numbers. This basically means that all that ice cream mixture within inside our freezing chamber is all frozen and ready to dispense. You'll also notice that the noise has reduced. That's because the compressor has cut out because it no longer needs to work to freeze this ice cream within the chamber. To dispense the ice cream, all we do is grab hold of the handle and we're going to pull this handle all the way down to the bottom, keep it pulled down, dispense our ice cream, and when we're done dispensing the ice cream we're going to pull the handle straight back up, just like so. Once you've dispensed that ice cream from the machine, is the compressor will kick back in and the making scale will start climbing again. The reason for this is because more mixtures come through from the hopper in the top. It's now sat in the back of the freezing chamber so the compressor kicks back in to refreeze that ice cream in the back of the chamber. So effectively it's going to keep up with you pulling on that handle and dispensing ice cream. So what we're going to do now is we're going to run through how to clean the machine out. So first things first, we need to empty the machine of the ice cream. So if we grab a jug, what we want to do is we want to hit the stop button on the machine. This will then cut out the compressor. It will stop the chamber from freezing any more ice cream for us. So if we pull down on the handle, what we want to do right now is we want to get rid of all the ice cream out of the freezing chamber. So we're going to keep hold of this handle until it starts running through as a liquid. So the ice cream stops running through as the form it's in now. It starts coming through as a liquid. At that point we're going to take his hand off the handle. So as you can see now, the ice cream has stopped running through as ice cream and we're now running through as mixture. This is a point when we want to take our hand off the handle. We're going to dispose of the ice cream. So what we've done there is we've got rid of the ice cream out of the freezing chamber. So we just want to bleed through the rest of our mixture now. So as you can see, that's coming through as the mixture as it was added into the top of the hopper. So we just keep hold of the handle, keep it held down and wait for this to be bled through. What we've done there is we've emptied the mixture out of the hopper in the top of the machine into a jug. This jug now we're going to put into the fridge and we're going to save this until we fill the machine up tomorrow. So what we have done is we've emptied our ice cream out of the freezing chamber and we've discarded that ice cream. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start cleaning the machine out. So first process of cleaning the machine out is we're going to get a bucket of lukewarm water. We're going to add that into the hopper in the top and we're going to hit the clean button. We're going to leave that for a few seconds and then we're going to dispense that water from the front of the machine by pulling down on the handle. So what you'll notice is that coming through as a nice creamy colour to begin with. By the end of this rinsing out process, the water will be running clear, so that's when you know that you've done a good job. We have run 5 litres of lukewarm water through the top. We've pressed the clean button and we've rinsed all that through. We've then put another 5 litres of lukewarm water in the top and we've rinsed that through again. At that point we've then got our sanitised lukewarm water, which is 5 litres of water to 1 satchel of sanitizer, and we've then added that into the top of the hopper. We've waited for the bubbles to stop in the top, which means it's then filled the chamber full of the sanitised water. We leave that in there for a little bit and then we dispense that out. Then what we've done is we've done another 5 litre jug of water, rinse that through, and another 5 litre jug of water and rinse that through. By this point what we've noticed is the water is running clear, so therefore it's emptied all the ice cream out of our chamber as well as our hopper and it's given it a good sanitise. So we've effectively cleaned the machine halfway. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the machine off and we're going to split the machine down and clean all the parts which I showed you in the beginning of the video.